is amazing. Up, it's clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Water.
For the first time here for season 3. Davis on pole, Vanderkran in second. It's going to be sprint round action here tonight. Let's go racing here at Daytona. It was a good start there from Davis in comparison to Vanderkran in behind. Cowan's absolutely bogged it up and already dropped out of the top 3 here as they come down towards turn 1 for the first time. There's biffing and barging between Gallen and Cowan. These guys are still going at it after last season. They survived for this time by though. Through turn 2 and 3 they come. Nice and clean, boys. Keep it up as they come up to...
I love riding. It's a real social thing. There's a great bond between riders.
Every weekend I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other.
Riding to work is a great way to start the day.
Shannons insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. They offer features riders really want. It's why they're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers.
Whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride.
ride with Shannons.
Call 134646 for a quote.
Through turn 1, it was a horrible start from De Bono, who's absolutely bogged it up and gets eaten alive by Dixon and Gowans as they come on through. Through turn 1 they come, and they all spread out around in towards the first sector of the Silverstone circuit. They look all right at the moment. Okay, there's already been a car spun round. That's Jordan Ferguson offline.
Is green, green, green at Road Atlanta here as well. Faulkner did get away. De Bono is tucked in as well. Unfortunately, Houghton is on that outside line. De Bono does want to turn it to two. He's got the job. De Bono's overtaken. Now can he get Ben Faulkner up through turns for 2 and 3? They go round the right-hander, dropping down the hill. Faulkner's out in front. De Bono second. Houghton third. Ratcliffe in fourth. No real dramas going into turn 1.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannon's.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 134646 for a quote.
amazing. Up, it's clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Seem Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because, I'll tell you what, Bruce Tanak and Jamie Dyson just absolutely drove away from us. Hayden trying to go around the outside. This is where he could have just sent it up the inside, but he hasn't implemented, which is fair enough. It's very scary out there, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's see if we can move on. God's just absolutely think about it. It's a really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SRWtv. And welcome into round 4 of season 1 of 2023 of the Legends World Challenge here out at Zolder Circuit. We continue our European Tour portion of the season here in Belgium for a beautiful little Legends showcase around a little hidden gem in the Belgian hillside. Of course, when you think of Belgium, you think of racetracks, you think of Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. But Zolder is one of those tracks, it lays in wait, it stays in the shadows, then it reveals itself and you're like, oh yeah, this track is actually something special. I'm your commentator here tonight, Hamish Bunner, as always, bringing you all the action through sight and sound right here on the SRWtv Facebook page and YouTube channel. And if you are watching us live, be sure to get into the chat, let us know your thoughts of the track, of the car, of the track-car combination, and anything tonight's racing is going to go as a whole. We've had a massive season so far in the first 3 rounds. Of course, the first 2 rounds of the US portion of our series out at Belle Isle and Sebring Club Circuit. Last week, we started our triple threat of European races out at Alton Park in the UK. There was some fantastic racing on offer, some great wheel-to-wheel action out at Alton Park. Fantastic little battles at the front of the field, the mid-pack, even towards the back of the field as well. I think tonight's race could be much of the same. The times are incredibly close all throughout the field. So we should not see too much spread of the field as a whole around this track. It is a long lap though, 1 minute 47.89 is the fastest time at the moment in practice. But we are getting, down towards the back end. It's around about the 150, 151. So there's a little bit of time in it, a little bit of time to be gained for some drivers. But as a whole, it is relatively close, and that should mean we get some nice close battles around this place. We've been here previously before with Formula 3s. I believe we come here with supercars before as well, possibly even GR86s. So it is a track that does lend itself well to some good battling, some good wheel-to-wheel action as well. And I'm super, super excited to start out Friday's double bubble action with some Legends World Challenge once again. It's one of my favourite parts of the week, in fact, to come in here with the Legends and just check out how it's all going, follow it along and see how these drivers, remembering that the format for Legends World Challenge runs as follows: half an hour of practice. We then have a qualifying session. We then get into a 10-minute sprint race, a little warm-up / expression session, and then the feature race of 15 minutes to end it all out. So we've got about an hour of action to come your way here tonight. Practice is going to be ending very, very shortly. We've got about a minute 30 left of the practice session. We'll then get into qualifying, and we'll see who's going to be able to tackle this circuit the best. We've got a couple of new drivers in tonight who have not previously been in this season, including Sean Benici. So looking forward to seeing how the American goes in these little Legends cars and how he tackles this Zolder circuit with them as well. So if you haven't already though, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe and the bell icon so you are notified whenever we go racing here on SRWtv. There's so much action still to come this season. We're at the halfway point now for the majority of the championships we have on offer, apart from Friday nights, of course. We were delayed a week due to some real world issues, but we are halfway through our regular season of our Supercars series on Tuesday nights, Super Formula Championship on Wednesday nights, the 8.6s last night, as well as Sunday, this coming Sunday for Supercars as well, round 5 at Fuji. So there's a heap of content still on offer this season. I want to hear from you guys though. What do you think last night? Barb's in the booth with JP. What do you think of him? How do you think Barb's went out there? Normally he's in the RC booth, not in the broadcast booth. What do you guys think of him? From what I heard, it's been pretty positive for Barb's and for his commentary as well. So that's really, really good to hear, and to hear the support from him. We'll get I'm sure if he gets a podium later tonight in the GTDs, we'll be able to have a chat to him about it and how he felt everything went last night as well. But we'll get into qualifying momentarily, not too far away from some on-track action coming your way out at Zolder, as practice is just finishing up right now. And I must say, I am incredibly excited for what could bring tonight. Sean Manish in the chat saying, oh boy, this will be interesting for me. First time driving this car. It's an eye-opening challenge, isn't it, Sean? It's why we call it the Legends World Challenge. It is, it's not necessarily easy going. It is a tough task to become one with these cars and get used to how they react around tracks, especially like this one. And how you can best tackle going after a lap as well. As, cars start to come out on track and they begin their qualifying laps for the first time. Here's Sam Chapman into the chat. He will be in this qualifying session saying, good stuff from Barb's last night. Enjoyed the replay. I'm really, really glad to hear. I need to watch it back in full myself. I've only seen little snippets of it. From what I personally heard, Barb's did a really, really good job. I think he did very, very well for his first broadcast, I believe, for SRW. And he did quite well to step in at the last minute for Steve. Of course, thoughts are with Steve and his wife, she was quite unwell yesterday, so he was having to play super dad, looking after his son, and then also after his wife as well. So he was full on last night. Sean saying then straight into the vet for the GTD race. Hey, it's good to see some double bubble coming. Some drivers do it. I know Andrew Rushworth does it from time to time, and others as well. So I'm interested to see. The one thing you can be guaranteed though, Sean, is there's no rain in this session, so you won't disconnect due to your computer not being able to withstand the rain out there on track. But I look forward to seeing how you are able to tackle this car and how you gel with it, not only tonight but for the rest of the season as well. Remembering that entries are still open for this series. They will remain open for the entirety of the season. If you want to register for the Legends, then go to www.simracingworld.com.au. That is www.simracing.com.au. It is linked below in the description as well. Register as a driver. Then send proof of your registration to the SRW Facebook page, and they will get you into the Discord, and you can come and register to race on Legends here on Friday night. There are still some registrations open for our other paid series on offer, of course. If you do want to race in those, you will need to become a paid member of the service. You can do that by subscribing at the Sim Racing World website, as I mentioned, that is linked below. You subscribe, you pay your subscription, you get your registration in, you get invited to the Discord. When you pay your subscription, you should get an automatic link that invites you. And then you can race in every other series, like the Tuesday night Warner Brown Tools V8 Supercars, the Wednesday night Cooler Master Super Formula Championship, the Thursday night Shannon's Insurance GR86 Nationals, the Friday night Warner Brown Tools GTD Series, and the Sunday night Warner Brown Tools V8 Supercars Championship as well. As qualifying is now underway, first flying laps are starting to begin. Tony Baker is the first driver that will lead them around this beautiful Zolder circuit, and he will complete his lap for the first time comparatively to everyone else. He's gone 2 purples so far in the first 2 sectors. We'll see if that gets challenged. Remembering, it was a low 47 that was the fastest time in practice. Remember that 47.9, I think it roughly was the fastest time in practice. So the cars have got the capabilities. It's whether the drivers can put the puzzle pieces together and find the direction that they need to be in to get the most out of this car track combination. Baker was on 3 purples, but Rushworth has now pipped him in the second. These could be some close times coming for some of these drivers as they cross the line for the first time. Baker's going to come through the final chicane. One of the toughest corners on this track. You can really get the car dancing through there if you hit the bump wrong on the way through. Up to the line now comes Baker. He's gone orange in the 4th sector. Lap may not count for him if he copped an off track. It has, though. It's a 1:48.54, so that will be a very competitive time for Tony Baker. Anderson now next to cross the line. Is the lap going to count for him? And is it going to be good enough to pip Baker's pole sitting time? It's not. It's a 1:49.42. Here is Ash DeVries. He is in behind Di Feldman at the moment as they cross the line. Feldman goes 1:50.75. DeVries with a 1:48.95. Good enough for P2. Rushworth crosses the line. This could go top for him. We'll see if it does. I don't know if the lap's actually counted. I don't believe it has, unfortunately for him. Benici round the final corner now to cross the line for the first time here in qualifying. He's got Sam Chapman following in behind. Where does Benici go? Where does Chapman go on the timing tower? Does Benici's time count? Doesn't seem like it has. Chapman, though, crosses the line. Has he copped an off-track or has he had a clean run? He has. He goes 48.34 on his first run here in qualifying. Dan Bartish now, he's gone P3 with a 148.72. Tom Brown, Tyson McAvoy are not in qualifying at the moment. I believe Tyson cannot take part in qualifying as he has a rear of grid penalty for contact last week. So he is unfortunately not going to be able to set a time here in qualifying, but he will start P10 on the road. It's whether Tom Brown can get out there as well and get a lap in his legend. Remembering it's only a 10-minute qualifying session. They're only going to have an opportunity to get a handful of laps in. And we are 5.5 minutes already into the qualifying session. I'll tell you what, one thing that I absolutely love about these cars, about this series, is the sound. The full noise motorbike engine in the front of these things absolutely screaming down a straight is phenomenal. It is so, so phenomenal. As you hear it going over bumps and just exuberating itself, it is fantastic. Anderson has gone P3 with a 148.44, so he's now pipped Bartish ahead of him as well as De Vries. We're still with Benici here. We'll see what his lap looks like. He's got Chapman in behind, who's looking to go better this time by. Rushworth's gone P4 now with a 48.55 personally for him. Benici up towards the line to get his first lap time in qualifying. We'll see if this one is going to count for him. Up to the line he comes. Has it counted? Will it put him on the board? It does. P7 on the road with a 48.99. So the times are incredibly close. Chapman crosses the line. He goes 47.77. He's the only one to get into the 47s here in qualifying and practice tonight. No one else has met the mark of Sam Chapman just yet. Anderson now, he's on an orange and a green in the first two sectors. Feldman's on a personal best in the first two. De Vries has gone orange in the second. He could possibly be getting held up a little bit here, but there's not much he can do about it as Feldman is on a lap. So she is on a push. So we'll see. He might just have to back out of it and just wait behind her here for the rest of the lap. There's not long to go for them. Only a handful of corners until the start-finish line. Feldman's gone orange in the third. Oh, but she's run it wide and had to pull out of it. So a little bit of a reprieve there for De Vries, but he will have to try and get another lap in. I think getting held up there has hindered his possibility of bettering his previous best of a 48.9. But we'll see how he goes as he comes up round the final corner. Let us know your preferences for Zolder as well, if you prefer the GP or the alternate circuit. Remember that the GP has that final chicane. The alternate more or less straight lines the corner. It kind of just cuts out the middle part of the chicane. It's more of a straight run. So yeah, De Vries' lap not any better this time by. We've got 2 minutes left of qualifying, so this is now going to be the final run for some of these drivers in qualifying. Chapman's going to come up to the line for the final time here. Actually, no. Oh, no, he won't have enough time to get home with another lap. He'll cross the line. Is he going to go any better than his previous best? It doesn't look like it. It's not. It's a 148.1. That'll be qualifying done and dusted for Sam Chapman. That'll also be done and dusted for Tony Baker. Can Anderson, does he have anything in his locker to get past Baker? He's on 2 oranges at the moment. Really needs to try and find some pace through these chicanes. That might be where he's dropping some pace and time. De Vries has gone orange in the second, green in the second, I should say. So he is personally improving now that he has dispatched of Di Feldman ahead of him. Final couple of corners now for Anderson. He's still on an orange. I don't think he's going to go any better this time by. De Vries coming in clutch and behind him. He's gone orange again. He needs a couple more greens if he wants to get higher up the table. He needs about 0.4 of a second to get past Rushworth with that 48.55. Chapman's still out there, but he should get cut off here in qualifying as De Vries comes up towards the final corner. Is the improvement going to be enough for him to gain another spot on the starting grid, or will he be forced to start from the third row? Up towards the line now from Ash De Vries. How does it look for him? It's not... Oh, it's an improvement, but it's not enough of an improvement. He's gone 48.87 across that lap. Chapman has lost it in the back end, and that will bring an end to our qualifying session momentarily, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll now get into the heat race for tonight's event. 10 minutes sprint action here, as always. 10-minute sprint, little expression session / warm-up in between. And then the full beans 15-minute feature to end out the first half of Friday night double bubble action. Starting grid for tonight's race will be as follows. It'll be Sam Chapman on pole position ahead of Tony Baker in P2. Jack Anderson, Dan Barsish on the second row of the grid ahead of Andrew Rushworth and Ash DeVries. It'll then be Sean Benici and Di Feldman on the fourth row with Tyson McAvoy and Tom Brown at the back end of the field. We're missing some of our regulars tonight, like Mick Clifton, Mark Cochran, Ryan Price, and Sam Katak-Kazinas. We'll see if they will be with us once again next week when we head out to Hockenheim Short B circuit, and if they will be joining us on the grid for that one. We only have a couple names waiting to get down to grid now, those being Chapman on pole, Rushworth in P5, and McAvoy in P9. Everyone else is on the grid, and they are ready for some intense action around this beautiful part of the world at the Zolder circuit. Known for GT racing and touring car racing as well. A little bit of open wheeler stuff gets done here now and again. As I mentioned, it is a hidden gem in the world of racing. Bit like most sport Wednesday night for the Super Formula Championship. It is a... It's got a soft spot in my heart. Doesn't necessarily make the top 10 of my favourite tracks as Chapman now joins the grid. But it is up there. It is a favourable one. If I was racing here, I'd be having a good time. It's a beautiful, beautiful part of the world. We'll see if they've all brought their Stroopwafel with them, or if they've left it in the bin and they do not have what it takes to make it around this track for 10 minutes. Starting lights will be up very, very shortly. We are going to go racing around the beautiful Zolder circuit here in the Legends for race number 1. 10-minute heat race coming your way. Who's going to get the jump off the line? It was a horrible start in the background for Benici for the first time this season. Baker's already got the run on Chapman down towards turn 1. He takes the lead of this race. Anderson's done well to hold on to P3. McAvoy had a mega start at the back. He's already up 2 spots. Brown's up 1. As Baker leads them round for the first time through the long turn 2 and up towards turn 3 now. Long run, fast-paced, into a hard braking zone at the chicane. Anderson is all over the back of Chapman right now. Might be looking to put an assault on him here. Oh, he's going to be smart about it. He'll hang back. He'll wait for his moment. He'll wait for his opportunity, but hitting the curb is not going to be one of them for Anderson. That's going to drop him to the back of the field. Lucky to not hit the wall. And now Chapman feels a bit of reprieve over the pressure that was formerly applied to him by Anderson, but not the start you would want off the line in this race. As they come round up towards the second chicane. Chapman's still over Baker right now. You can see the battle happening in the background between, well, that is Tom Brown, Di Feldman, and Sean Benici here. Benici up the inside of Feldman. Good little move. They'll go side by side possibly. No. Feldman backs out of it, lets him through. And we can see Chapman already starting to put an assault on Tony Baker at the front of the field right now in the 0-4 machine. Up towards the start-finish line for the first time. Lap 2 will begin. We should get ourselves roughly, I want to say, 6 laps out of this race, quite possibly. Possibly 6 laps. This is what happened to Anderson on lap 1. Down at the first chicane. So he's tried to line this up on Chapman, and then he's just taken a little bit too much curb, a little bit too much speed, Very lucky not to hit the tyre barrier. We've seen many an incident happen at that corner over the history. And he's done well to survive this time by. Through turn 3, they come on the run up to the chicane once again. Will any of them blow it up this time by? Or can they keep the run clean into the braking zone? Oh, they're just sticking to it like a train to rail to train tracks. Doing unbelievably at the moment. Jesse McMenamin in the Facebook chat. Let's go, Sean B. For Mr. Benici. He's only down one spot off his starting position. He's in P8 and he's in an intensifying battle right now with Tom Brown and Di Feldman. He's doing well in the 999 machine. De Vries has had a slide off track. So has Bartish. They've started to drop back. Up the front lead juiced racing from Jesse McMenamin. We'd love to see more of the Froggies out there. They're like tadpole racing for them in these little legends. We'd love to get more out on track and have them rocket their way round this little world tour that we're taking ourselves on. It'll be absolutely fantastic. This is how they currently stand as they come round to start lap 3. It's Chapman to Baker to McAvoy. So McAvoy's already up onto a podium position. Rushworth, De Vries, Brown, Benici, Feldman, Anderson, and Bartish at the back of the field. This is what happened to Bartish and De Vries last lap. So you see there just, I don't know if that was self-inflicted or if there was something in it from De Vries to him. So, just a massive bit of net code possibly. They've both then intertwined. They drop a heap of spots. It's unfortunate, but we'll see what happens. We are unfortunately without race control. Once again, thanks to Leaky unable to be here. We hope that you are feeling better, Leaky. We hope you're back with us very, very soon. As the battles are starting to continue on towards the back end of the field, but up the front we can see Baker has now lost the lead to Sam Chapman. The pole sitter has taken it back. McAvoy's having a great run. He's up 6 spots in this race so far. Rushworth's up 1, De Vries up 1, Brown up 4. Back in P6. Biggest losers are both Anderson and Bartish. They were both down 6, but Anderson's now picked off Di Feldman. Takes the tally back to 5 positions lost in this race. Bartish, though, still struggling at the back after the contact last lap. Halfway through this race already, so I think my prediction for 6 laps is on the cards here. As they have just started to spread just a little bit, but the little battle packs are still forming. The little 1v1s, the little triple threats, they're still forming in amongst the field, which is good to see. I mean, we have 34 drivers signed up to this series. We hope we can get a full grid at one race this season. That would be absolutely epic. All 34 cars on track at once would be mega. Absolutely mega. We know life gets in the way. We know it's an earlier race, being at, 6:30 pretty much. Sessions opening at 6. We're very understanding of that, of course. So, lap 4, though, just under 7 minutes into this race. Not long to go now for Sam Chapman at the front end of the field. He has now started to gap Tony Baker in P2 out to just over a second, and it looks like it could already be finished for Chapman to take this win. But we will see. Anything can happen. He could just snag a curb wrong, spin the car out like what Anderson did in race earlier this race, and just drop a heap of spots in the process as well. So he needs to keep it cool, calm, and collected. Needs to keep it on the straight and narrow. Cannot afford any mistakes in the next 3.5 minutes of this race. As we look a bit further back, we have got Rushworth and McAvoy. They're still battling it out right now for the final podium position. Rushworth is right on the tail of the performance sim racing driver in Tyson McAvoy at the moment. The battle is starting to heat up between them. On board now with Rushworth down towards the final sector of this Zolder circuit. The Apex Esports League car. We thought we might see Stephanie Piccoli for the first time this season tonight. She unfortunately has not made the grid. So it is Andrew Rushworth flying the silver flag for them at the moment into the final chicane. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle mid-corner there. Great catch from him. And that's one of the biggest challenges of this car is it's those little 1%ers that, you know, catching the car midway through a corner, it starts to spin and you're able just to straighten it up and catch it and keep going. Those are some of the hardest little skills that you need to put into place to maximize how you can drive this car. Now, obviously, your best laps are going to be ones where you don't need to correct half spins. They're ones that are completely smooth. They're completely maximum focus, maximum speed. And you are just cutting pure qualifying laps at that point. But for a race pace, that was phenomenally done from Andrew. Very, very textbook. Anderson now has picked off Sean Benici to get into P6 on the road. So now he's only 3 positions down from where he started this race. McAvoy and Rushworth too wide through the chicane. Rushworth's going to get a massive slowdown for the curb strike. That's now going to give some reprieve to Tyson McAvoy, who will now drop that pressure of Rushworth. This is how they lined it up. So McAvoy covered that inside line. Rushworth going for the outside run. Oh, and just 2 into that corner. It doesn't work. It is so, so tough. Very, very lucky not to make contact, on that corner. And now McAvoy has a bit of a reprieve. It now drags De Vries in amongst it as well. Could get himself a cheeky P4 in this race if he gets past Rushworth. He's currently P5. 5.2 seconds over this battle as Anderson's had to now give up a position to Benici, so a possible slowdown for him. Brown in behind, so is Feldman, so is Bartish. So the battles are starting to, they're all starting to shrink down now. They're starting to condense, I should say. The battle pack's starting to condense. 2 wide through the final chicane. We've got less than a minute left. It's going to be 1 lap to go as they get the white flag. Anderson has now taken that P6 on the road as that little 5-way battle continues at the back end of the field. Sam Chapman has now started to check out from Tony Baker in behind him, who's got McAvoy a further 4.5 seconds back. Then it's 1.1 seconds back to Rushworth, who's got De Vries absolutely hounding the back of him in the Velocity Racing Team Era 404 Family Guy mobile. So this battle's on. We'll see if anything materializes across this final lap. The time is about to expire, though, so it will be checkered flag flying when Chapman crosses the line next time by. Up to the second chicane. Does well. Oh, he's just chucking it through there. He is absolutely flying right now. Full push, full pace. And he is sending it through some of these corners. He's having a good time out there, which we love to see. Into the final hairpin up towards the final chicane. And Chapman, who has, he lost the lead off the start to Baker. But since he took back that lead, he has been ultra dominant here in race number 1. He's going to take one hell of a victory for himself. As he comes up towards the line, Sam Chapman takes himself a win at Zolder. It's another one for Familiar Motorsport this season. And it's a great chunk of points for him in the championship as he wiggles it across the line. Baker has come down to the line and he's put it into the wall. McAvoy's going to outlast into P3. Rushworth and De Vries were drag racing it down to the line. Rushworth just gets it by 0.05 of a second. Anderson P6, Benici P7. Brown, Feldman and Bartish make up the top 10 in this race. But it was Sam Chapman who took the maximum in race number 1. A phenomenal effort there from the Vermilion Motorsports driver in race number 1. An incredible effort. He had the pace to do it. He kept it clean. Some phenomenal driving there from Mr. Sam Chapman. Got to give him a round of applause for that one, ladies and gentlemen. It was a fantastic effort. And, well, what a race. What a race. Unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff. So we're getting into our little warm-up session / expression session. There we can see Mr. Anderson doing some burnouts for us at the pit exit. Di Feldman is out on track cutting herself some laps here in the warm-up, just to get herself primed and ready for race number 2, where she'll start on the front row of the grid. Anderson's back out on track as well. They're getting over the radio with each other right now. I'm not sure what they have to say, if I'm completely honest. But what a race that was. Great win there for Sam Chapman. A podium finish there for Baker and for McAvoy. A good chunk of points for them. Anderson struggled from the start, spun it round, made his way back through the field up towards P6. So he will start P5 on the road from the next race as well. It was a good run home for Rushworth. He just outlasted Ash DeVries to the line. Unfortunate there for DeVries, he couldn't get it done. Feldman did well to keep it clean. Bartish, unfortunate to get caught up in some net code. And then, yeah, Benici did fairly well for himself on debut. Sean saying that was fun. I'm glad you had fun, Sean. I hope you have fun in race 2 as well. 15-minute feature race to come in the next 60 seconds. You get an extra 5 minutes to have some more fun next time by. It is a great car. It's a great, fun little car. As Henderson has, he's testing out the NDM there, the new damage model on this thing. But yeah, it's an absolute ripper of a car. It's phenomenal. They are so fun, especially on road. With more support coming for these things in the next season build, to do with more road stuff, it can only be good things, and it should mean that this car is going to get even better to drive on a road circuit. And it is going to be so much fun. And I cannot wait. I can't wait to see how they perform. We've got Cadwell coming next season. That should be possibly on the calendar. We'll have to wait and see. Being that they actually do race the legends there in real life as well. It's going to be phenomenal. And it's going to be a season that you guys want to be involved in. I mean, it's a free sign-up series. If you've registered this season, you can still register. You'll still be amongst it for next season as well. Yeah, I mean, registrations, they'll be going out, fairly soon, I would say, alongside the other series as well. We may just leave registrations open and just leave it as it is. And if you want to race next season, then you just stay on the books. We're not sure. Can't really speak for how we're going to plan it out too much. But it should be a good opportunity for us to go racing next season. Starting grid, though, for race number 2, the feature will be as follows. It'll be Dan Bartish and Di Feldman on the front row of the grid, with Tom Brown and Sean Benici in behind them. Jack Anderson, Ash DeVries then line up alongside each other on the third row, ahead of Andrew Rushworth and Tyson McAvoy, with Tony Baker and Sam Chapman at the back end of the field. It's a full reverse grid, being we have less than 15 cars on track tonight. Remember, the race 2 has a top 15 reverse normally. But being that there's only 10 cars, it's just a full reverse grid. So we will see. We'll see how they go. Sean saying, I hear there are a road series coming next season. Yeah, and that's that comes back to more support for them. So they're likely going to get better road setups as well. I'm sure the road series is probably going to be a lot of the English tracks, possibly some American ones as well, because these are heavily used in England. We'll see how they go. It should mean that there's more support coming for these cars as well, which only then strengthens this series. Should give us some different setups we can use on the cars, being a fixed setup series as well. So I think this is only going to help us and only make the series better going forward. Just as a fun way to come racing on a Friday evening. Or a Friday early morning for you, late Thursday night. So, I think it's only a positive, and I think next season is going to be even bigger and better than this season is. I think next season's really going to be an improvement. We've got the showcase of the cars happening at the moment. People are getting hungry to come and race them. When they see how they are, they want to come have a go. They have a go, and they realize how fun it is, and they want to stick around. So. It's a fantastic series, and we hope that it can continue to grow and get better and better and better as the seasons go on, and as we go racing more and more often. Lights are going to go up, though, We're going to go racing for the feature race here tonight at Zolder. 15 minutes of racing to come. Bartish and Feldman on the front row. We are away, and De Vries has stalled it on the line. There's been contact off the start line with McAvoy and Baker as well. They're hard into the wall in the background. The big gainer out of all of it is Chapman, Rushworth and Anderson. Massive contact though on the start-finish line between McAvoy and Baker. Benici and Anderson are wrestling it side by side still in the mid-pack. It has been an absolute blow-up off the start. We'll see how they go for the rest of this race, but McAvoy, oh my God, there's Benici spun around and he's had contact with Rushworth as well. Massive contact in the background. Rushworth may need to tow that thing back to pits. It is absolutely blown up here on the first lap of this race at Zolder. Absolutely blown up. Bartish leads to Tom Brown, Di Feldman, Jack Anderson, Sam Chapman, Ash De Vries. But the contact has been massive. Baker is off in the grass, as Anderson is now dispatched of Di Feldman to get into P3, and he looks to chase down Tom Brown. Ahead of him now in P2 on the road. Anderson is looking to get some big gains happening down the inside of Brown. Can't quite get the switchback this time by. And Anderson, by the end of the first lap, is already up into P2 and looking to chase down Dan Bartish. But he has got a fast approaching Sam Chapman in behind him and in behind Tom Brown as well. Through the final corner they come. Bartish leads the way. As we cross the line, let's quickly check out some of these big incidents that have happened off this start line now. This was the first with McAvoy and Baker. Let's see if we can get a better shot of it. So they get off the start line. There you see De Vries stopped on the line, and then McAvoy, unfortunately, just into the side of Baker, and they've both ended up in the wall. And then this was Rushworth and Benici down towards the next portion. So there you see it was Benici had a big old slide. Oh, just a massive piece of contact with Rushworth. So he just unsettled and then, just caught up and bang, straight into the wall. Massive contact between them. Hard contact into the wall. And we also had Baker into the final, into the first hairpin, just a big old curb hop. Just unsettled him. McAvoy and Benici, I believe, are actually coming into pit lane to fix their damage. And that was why they possibly had incident, because, yeah, it was, because they've all just slowed at pit entry, so. But that's what's all happened across the start of this race. Some massive incidents already. Bartish still leads by 1.9 seconds now over Jack Anderson in P2. Tom Brown's in P3. They've got De Vries and Chapman in behind them, as well as Feldman. So that mid-pack battle's starting to heat up, as De Vries and Brown are trying to battle it out here for P3 on the road. De Vries may get left out to dry from them. Oh my God, the switchback from him was absolutely millimeters in between them. Down towards the line, it is still a drag race from De Vries and Brown now. He's got Chapman on his tail. Is he going to send it down the inside at one? No, he has to back out of it. De Vries has P3 on the road after a saucy little move into the final chicane. Brown is still in behind, as well as Chapman. Feldman's hanging on by a thread. Unfortunately, Benici, Rushworth, McAvoy and Baker, they're far off this battle pack, side by side, possibly down towards the next chicane. Oh my God, Chapman, and that was Brown, I think, as well, off the track. That is Tom Brown. What has happened here at turn 3? So the teammates side by side. Oh, just interlocked wheels, and Brown off the track into the wall. You absolutely hate to see it. Oh my God, and that thing is crabbing hard. What has happened to Tom Brown's car? What has happened to that car? That thing is completely overcooked. You have to laugh. You have to laugh at how that thing is now driving. He's changed his name to Takumi. He's got the tofu in the cup holder. He is just drifting this thing around this whole circuit. What the? He's full lock. He is full lock inside this car. We have to go back, though, to the battles on hand. Chapman and Feldman together at the final chicane. Oh, my God. That is... of a race, of a week that's been full of memes with Hughesy spinning the safety car earlier this week in supercars, and then Tom Brown absolutely just drifting it around this circuit due to damage. Chapman now gets the move done on Feldman. Is he still going? He's still going. What? He's still going. What the hell, Tom? I think he's parked it. He's parked it up. He's going to have to tow back. Chucking on a dirt speedway. It looks like he's on speedway. Change for the lead, though, up towards the first chicane. Anderson is side by side with Bartosz. He could take the lead back here. He does. Not back. He's taken the lead for the first time this race. Up 4 positions now from where he started. De Vries and Chapman still battling in behind. We're only 6.5 minutes into this race, folks, and it is already cooking in this one. Some absolutely wild moments thus far in this race. Unfortunately for Tom Brown, he has had to tow it back to pit, so he will be fairly off the back of the pack. May even be out of this race, not 100% sure. Benici, though, P9, Rushworth P8, McAvoy P7, Baker P6. Those guys all far back after early incidents on lap 1 and lap 2. Then it's Feldman up into P5. Great gain of points for her if she can pull this off. Chapman in P4. He's got De Vries ahead of him at the moment in P3. Bartosz P2, and then Anderson leads the way. So there's a good chunk of points on offer for a lot of these drivers here, especially for Anderson. Yet to take a win this season here in the Legends World Challenge. It'd be a great way to end the first half of the season before round 5 next week. He has got Bartosz half a second in behind him, though, but we are halfway through this race. 7.5 minutes in. 7.5 minutes to go. I mean, if Chapman and De Vries start battling, and if Anderson can start to gap Bartosz, he should be able to run away with it. The field has started to spread, but it has been a wild first half to this feature race here tonight. Absolutely wild. It amazes me how much action, how much chaos you can get from these cars. Remembering this series in particular is meant as a fun series. You rock up, you come and do a race. You know, it's not meant to be too serious. It's a bit of bragging rights. It's just a bit of Friday night action for you before the serious GTD race later tonight. That's what this is marketed as. It's a free series. You come in, you have a bit of fun. If you win, you win. If you do well, you do well. If you get a crash, you have a crash. Whatever it may be. Now, we have got, obviously, rules in place, so it's not just crash everybody out lap 1. And some of those incidents will likely incur penalties for next week's race 1. But in saying that, these things are a bucket of fun. And if you're ever thinking about coming and getting involved in this series, I highly recommend you do. These cars are so fun. I raced in season 1 of these things away from SRW. It was a ball of fun. These things are incredible. They're little pocket rockets, and I cannot sell them harder than I am right now. They're not easy to drive, mind you. Like, if you're fresh on iRacing, just got to D-Class, would not recommend it. But if you're like a seasoned vet of like doing supercars and 8.6s and, you know, other little tin top things like that, and you just want a new little fun challenge for yourself, sign up, man. Sign up, come and have a race. It is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. If you want to get involved, head over to the website link in the description, www.simracingworld.com.au. You'll find it down there. Register as a driver. Send your proof of your registration into the SRW Facebook page. They'll then send you a Discord link. You can then come and register for the series. It is incredible. It's awesome. So get involved if you want to. But racing action on hand at the moment. We are 9 minutes, or just about 10 minutes into this feature race, so about 5 minutes to go. Anderson and Bartish, top two. Battle is still on. De Vries and Chapman now. Their battle for P3 begins to heat up and sizzle just a little bit. Bonici's had himself a bit of an incident in the background, but he is still rolling. Is he carrying damage? He is. Unfortunate for him. So he'll have to look ahead to possibly come in the next couple of moments. Chapman and De Vries now, though, battling it out for P3 on the road. If Chapman pulls this off, which he has, and if he can hold him off, he'll have 5 minutes to catch up to Dan Bartish and Jack Anderson and get the move done to lead this race. So we could be on for quite the photo finish in this feature race, ladies and gentlemen. Chapman trying to go for the double here tonight. Hasn't happened that often. Anderson trying to get his first win of the season. So is Bartish. De Vries is there. He wants to try and get a podium for himself. If any of these guys have it coming together, these guys will be there to pick up the crumbs of their competitors. As we start lap 7, 11 minutes into this race. We should have 2 to 3 laps left of this one here tonight. Of the 15-minute feature, it has been pure chaos early doors in this one. Pure chaos. And we are going to have our work cut out for us in RC to watch back some of these incidents and to hand out some penalties for next week's race if they are applicable. But in saying that, the racing has been awesome. It has been awesome. Some great wheel-to-wheel action. Fun to be had. It has been incredible. Sam Chapman, though, what is on play for him? He's got 3.8 seconds to gain on Dan Bartish up ahead of him if he has a hope in hell of battling to get a second win here tonight. He's got Ash De Vries in behind, 0.4 of a second now. Trying to stay with him here and trying to keep applying that pressure to force the mistake. At the front end of the pack, we have Anderson leading the way by 0.7 of a second over Dan Bartish. He does not want to start battling with Bartish. If they start battling, Chapman will catch them and he will put major pressure on him. He proved in race 1 he had the pace to run away with it. He proved it in practice. He proved it in qualifying, setting 147s. The only driver to do so tonight. He proved that he had the pace over the field and he could get it done. So we know if he gets onto them, we know he will attempt to make the pass. We know he will likely get past them and he could take the win of this race. But the gap's now 0.8 of a second for Anderson to Bartish. In fact, it's only just under 0.9 of a second. Chapman to De Vries is now 0.9 of a second as well. We have got just over 2 minutes to go in this feature race, ladies and gentlemen. That means we have 2 more laps of this race left to run. Anderson sets his fastest lap of the race that time by a 149.1. He is now starting to bridge the gap starting to build the gap, I should say, between him and Bartish in P2. Chapman bridging the gap between him and Bartish in P2. He's starting to catch up to him now. At the same time, he's starting to build gap back to De Vries in behind as well. They're in limbo a little bit right now, ladies and gentlemen. This could be, if Chapman gets onto the back of Bartish, this could be a sprint to the flag on the final lap of this race. Anderson cannot afford a slowdown, cannot afford a mistake, just has to keep it clean and keep hitting his marks over the next 1.5 laps of this race, and he'll find himself a race winner this season. Absolutely chucks it into the second chicane. Very, very lucky there not to get caught out, but he has now gained up to 1.3 seconds is now the gap on Dan Bartish in P2. Chapman's gap now 1.9 seconds up to Bartish in P2, so he is slowly creeping up. De Vries is now backed off. He's back to 1.5 seconds further back in P4. It's going to be final lap dash action for these cars to the checkered flag, ladies and gentlemen. It is maximum pressure moments like this where drivers just need to keep their heads cool, calm, and collected. And this is what is going to put them into the record books. Final corner time. They've got one more run to go around Zolder circuit. We've got 30 or 20 seconds left of regular time, but they will surpass that. They will do the extra lap. Anderson crosses the line in the lead. 1.8 seconds is the gap back to Bartish. Chapman is now 1.2 seconds to Bardish, so he may not have enough time to do this. Baker, who has been lurking a bit further back all race, has now started to catch up to Feldman a bit further behind, so he could possibly take her top 5 dreams away from her here tonight in race number 2. As we come up towards turn 3, Anderson just has to keep it clean through these chicanes if he hopes to become a race winner. Cannot afford a mistake. He made the mistake lap 1 of the first race tonight, literally at the earliest moment. He made a mistake into this chicane. Under brakes now, on the run through, doesn't cut it nearly as much as previously did, nearly wiggled it on there. Out there though, very, very lucky not to lose it on exit. Bartish P2, 0.8 of a second now is the gap between him and Chapman. De Vries has now been checked out on by these guys. He's now 2.4 seconds back on Chapman. Anderson survives through the second chicane. Chapman now 0.6 of a second on Bartish. Only a handful of corners left to go for Anderson to call himself a race winner here in the Legends World Challenge. It's maximum pressure moment. The chicane at the bottom of the hill. Anderson keeps it on the black stuff. 2 corners to go for him to get the race win. Bardish has run it wide. Maximum pressure now from him and Chapman for P2 on the road. Up to the braking zone of the final couple of corners. Bardish is trying to cover that inside line on Chapman. Anderson has survived the run through. Jack Anderson, after making a mistake on lap 1 of race 1, has made his way through the field. He takes the win in the feature. Bartish by barely anything over Chapman. He takes P2, Chapman in P3, De Vries in P4. Further back, we have Feldman and Baker battling it out. Feldman, though, has had a big old moment at the final corner. Possibly Baker was alongside, I'm not sure. But down towards the line, Baker is now going to take P5 on the road from her. McAvoy further back, he's going to come home and take P7. Rushworth, if McAvoy survives, will take P8. And Benici on debut will take P9. Unfortunately, Tom Brown did not get back on the road tonight. But the chase and the hunt from Sam Chapman was not enough to take the win away from Jack Anderson. An unbelievable run home for Jack Anderson here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. An unbelievable win. His first of the series this season. An unbelievable race. Chapman just missed out on P2. I believe he will win the round. But we will chat to Mr. Anderson for winning the feature race here tonight. When he is in the green room, we'll drag him in. Mr. Anderson, you are a race winner in your own series. Look at who won. Wouldn't you know who won the pony? You have won your first race this season in dramatic fashion. The call on that last lap was insane. Chapman chasing down Bartish. Couldn't quite get past him early enough to get up to you. What was the pressure gauge like? Was it just maximum cracked glass, or were you cool, calm, and collected on that final lap?
The final lap, I was more fine, but before that, I was kind of sweating bullets a bit because I think Dan might have chewed a bit too much off his tyres the first couple of laps, or the laps before that. I was just kind of nursing him a bit because I know how bad these tyres just fall off. So it worked out well for me in the end, and yeah, it was a pretty spectacular finish. I watched it in the rearview mirror.
It was a fantastic run to the line. You managed to just pick your way through the field. Some early incidents that happened in this race in the first couple of laps. I don't know if you saw Andrew Rushworth absolutely just rolling over his car after contact. That was spectacular. We have got a new meme this season now. You need to go back through this race and find it. It's specifically Tom Brown. I was cackling. It was that funny. Hockenheim next week, though. Short B circuits are nice, small circuit for you to just sprint your way around. Is this now giving you some more confidence going into that race? Because I asked you earlier today, were you confident in taking a win tonight? And you didn't think you would, and look what's happened. You have taken a win now. how do you feel for Hockenheim next week?
Yeah, well, I'd never really driven this track, especially in this car. I think I drove like a couple of laps last season just to kind of see if it suited the car, and that was about it. And then, yeah, jumping in today when you said, do I have confidence in winning? I said, absolutely not. But no, I proved myself wrong, and yeah, I reckon Hockenheim will be pretty good. It's nice and it's a very tight track, being the so the class is the short B.
Yeah, it's short
I
B,
think.
so it's pretty much just like the second stadium section mixed in with like half of the first sector. I'm pretty sure.
That'll be a very action-packed, I hope. So.
I think so. Oh, mate, let us know. Help us get you out on track. Anyone else you want to give a quick shout-out to as well? And congratulations on your first win this season.
Yeah, so just my own team, Velocity Racing team, all the boys there who jump in every week and race, especially the Super Formula Lights and the Legends. Cheeky Squirt. Still got to shout out Alcoholder, let's be honest. And shout out to Pedro and for you for broadcasting, and to Leaky. Hope you're feeling better, Mr. Leak. So
very good, mate. Well, I hope you have a good race after this session as well. And since you are in here, let me just say,
Sam, what you doing? You got a hot dog, buddy?
I'm got a hot dog,
buddy.
I can tell you right now, I did hit the hot dogs on the.
I saw on lap one. On lap one, yeah. You spun it round, but I'll let you get out of it, mate. I have actually got a Sam to talk to, so I'll drag him in as the round winner, mate. Great job. Best of luck next week at Hockenheim. I look forward to seeing how you go.
All good. Thanks for all the broadcasting, mate.
No worries, mate. Thank you. Sam, you got yourself a win, buddy. No, Sam Chapman, congratulations. You got yourself the round win tonight, as well as the Heat 1 win as well. A phenomenal effort from yourself, but I think the question amongst the crowd is, where is Ben Faulkner?
Ben Faulkner has actually snuck to Melbourne to go support the boys in the Motorsport Australia, the qualifiers for the World, whatever the World Series is, or whatever. A couple of guys in that.
As if he did not sneakily get onto a rig for an hour just to come and race the Legends tonight. I mean, just deplorable, isn't it? Just deplorable. But I suppose you pick up the crumbs that he leaves behind. You managed to get yourself a solid win. You had some fantastic pace out there. Probably needed maybe another 5 minutes to get up onto the back and pass Jack for the lead. But a great run from you in race 1. Took out the win. Only driver to get into the 47s tonight. We've got Hockenheim next week. Does this bring you some confidence going into that race?
Yeah, it does, because Zolder's a crappy circuit for me. I've never really done many laps around here, and when I have, it's been pretty unsuccessful. So, I was actually surprised by the pace tonight, and and I think in that second race, I could have got there with the extra time because the pace was there. But I was just sort of playing it trying to play it pretty safe coming through the field, but there was just sort of bits and bobs going on that held it all up. It was quite difficult to get a pass done without losing quite a lot of time. So, it brings a fair bit of confidence. I'll see how I go. It's always difficult to take off a Friday night. Hence why it's my second race of the season, but we'll see if we can.
Well, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. There was some contact made with yourself and your teammate, Tom Brown. Was Tom a bit salty after ending up in the wall on that one? It looked like you guys just kind of interlocked wheels after being side by side, and he's unfortunately gone off track. Hopefully no bad feelings between you both. I mean, that would have been a tough call to make for an RC on that move there. I mean, what's your perspective on that one?
My perspective was pretty much, and Tom came over the mic and sort of said, he ran a bit wide going into that turn. So and that's sort of my view on it as well. Is that it was a fair bit wide of apex, and I'd sat there for a while. So we got caught up. So yeah, I think it was more just an unfortunate one. As you're all dicing around, there was 3 of us in that pack. It was easy to do. But yeah, unfortunately, he came off worse.
Oh, well, unfortunate for Tom, you managed to come off relatively clean off the back of that one. When we looked at it from the chopper shots, looked like a little bit of a racing incident. Wasn't really much in it anyway. But Hockenheim next week, mate. Hopefully you can continue this good run of form off the back of tonight's race 1 and then another podium in race 2. Just quickly, though, before I let you go, how was the chase of Dan Bartish there in the final lap, trying to get by him, and it literally just coming down to the start-finish line, and he only just got you there? What was that like for you, just trying to chase him down, trying to get past, and then he just gets you in the end?
Yeah, I thought that would happen. I was just sort of looking at the times, particularly after I overtook. So I can't remember who was in 3rd place, and that was, there was a good couple of seconds of time lost there. And I think if that time wasn't lost, I would have got down and it would have been close to potentially Jack. But it was just a case of if there was more time, right? It's a 15-minute race, trying to come through a track that's relatively difficult to overtake, and there are a few incidents. It's going to happen, but yeah, it was good fun. I almost thought I might have him towards that final chicane when I was right up close, and he sort of had a bit of a wobble, but he's just not quite a long enough straight there.
Oh, well, mate, thanks for coming and have a quick chat to me. Congratulations on your round win tonight, as well as the win in the heat race. Let us know how us get you and Familiar Motorsport out on track, and anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well.
So Familiar Motorsports, Race Lab Overlays, Bev Designs, Supernova Motorsports, Moser Racing, Hymo Setups, and Vermilion X Coaching. And shout out to the guys at the qualifiers tonight, Zach and Jamie, and the rest of the guys that are there supporting them in Melbourne.
Very good, mate. Well, best of luck for next week at Hockenheim Short B Circuit. We should be on for another great race ahead. Hopefully you can continue this run forward and possibly take yourself another step on the podium, or possibly even another win as well.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Thanks, mate. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that will bring an end to the first half of our Friday night double bubble. Coming up in roughly 20 minutes' time, we have the Warren and Brown Tools GTD series coming your way from Imola for round number 4 of season 1 of 2023 for their efforts. Please be sure to come back and watch that action. Should be absolutely phenomenal. Steph Piccoli will finally be back in the booth with me tonight for that one. But I'm in Hamish Romano. This has been round 4 of the Legends World Challenge, season 1 of 2024. I said 2023 before for the GTDs. For 2024 it was, season 1 of 2024. This one is also season 1 of 2024 out at Zolder Circuit. We'll see you guys next week for Hockenheim Short B. Should absolutely be magnificent. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe, and the bell icon as well. So you're notified whenever we go racing here on SRWtv, including later tonight with the GTD series brought to you by Warren and Brown Tools, and Sunday nights, Warren and Brown Tools V8 Supercars Championship out at Fuji. Got to give a quick shout out to all the series sponsors, including the title sponsors, Warren and Brown Tools, for their continued support on Tuesday night Supercars, Friday night GTDs, and Sunday night Supercars as well to Cooler Master for picking up the support for the Wednesday Super Formula Championship, and for Shannon's Insurance for continuing their support on the GR86 Nationals, even after having to cut back on their support for Super Formulas on Wednesdays. We also need to give a big shout out to our other sponsors, including NeuroPower, DSL Rail Services, Shunt Scenery, and Grim Industries, the home of the V8 coffee table, which can be seen on Prime Video's Top Gear Australia. But until next time, this has been the Legends World Challenge out at Zolder Park. We'll see you later tonight for the GTDs, but until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
This is amazing. I was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down to the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because, tell you what, Bruce Tanak and Jamie Dyke just absolutely drove away from